Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving right into the anatomy of a megacity. We're looking at Hyderabad, India, and exploring how its absolutely staggering, rapid evolution is serving as a brilliant blueprint for modern urban engineering. If you've ever wondered how you actually build a future-proof city from the ground up, well, you're in exactly the right place.
Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the engineering, we have to look at this wild paradox. Why wasn't Hyderabad even on India's original 2015 Smart Cities mission list? It's kind of baffling, right? Out of 100 cities that were handpicked for massive federal funding to become smart cities, Hyderabad was completely MIA. And yet, somehow, this city that didn't make the cut is now vastly outpacing its peers in growth, tech, and infrastructure. So how on earth did they do it?
Well, instead of waiting around for that top-down federal funding, Hyderabad just went ahead and created its own independent smart city logic. They engineered a massive strategy that tightly converges three key things: governance, technology, and infrastructure. They didn't need a fancy federal label. They just rolled up their sleeves and started building the exact systems required to make a city truly livable, resilient, and inclusive.
To really understand this, we're going to explore the city exactly like it's a living organism. First up, the smart city exception. 2, building the bones. 3, the digital brain. 4, breathing room. And finally, 5, the 2030 horizon. All right, let's jump straight into part 1, the smart city exception, focusing on the governance framework. You know, to build at this massive scale, you absolutely cannot have a bottleneck at the top. So Hyderabad completely decentralized its power. They broke things down and handed control to highly specialized agencies. You've got one dedicated entirely to citywide infrastructure. Another strictly handles roads and those massive expressways. A third drives the tech and pharma clusters, and a fourth is laser-focused on the digital side. This clear separation of duties, that is exactly how they're able to build so incredibly fast. Moving right along to part 2, building the megacity bones. This is all about the physical infrastructure. 158 kilometers. Just grab your head around that scale for a second. That is the length of the Outer Ring Road, or the ORR. And guys, this isn't just your standard highway. It's a massive 8-lane expressway that completely circles Hyderabad. It essentially acts as the primary vascular artery for the whole region, connecting 33 separate urban nodes, pulling all that heavy logistics traffic out of the center and dramatically decongesting the core of the city. But hey, I guess one giant ring road wasn't enough. Hyderabad is already developing an even larger vision. They're budgeting a staggering 17,000 crore rupees for a regional ring road. We're talking about a 330-kilometer outer loop designed specifically to link up satellite townships and Tier 2 towns. It literally gives the metropolitan area unlimited breathing room to expand.
And inside the city limits, things are moving just as fast, thanks to their strategic road development plan. They've dropped 8,000 crore rupees to deliver over 45 flyovers and underpasses. The secret sauce here is sustainable, precast modular construction. They're literally building these massive bridge components off-site and then snapping them together in the middle of the city like giant Lego blocks. It completely minimizes traffic jams during construction.
Then you add in the public transit. They've already successfully launched Phase 1 of their metro, 69 kilometers spanning the red, blue, and green lines. But the genius part is how it's integrated. They've baked smart tech, like seamless mobile ticketing, right into the system. And they're even generating their own electricity using solar rooftops on the stations and depots. So what happens when all these massive physical systems actually need to talk to each other? Let's get into part 3, the city's digital brain. Imagine a central nervous system for an entire metropolis. That's the Banjar Hills Command and Control Center. It's this massive 4-tower hub where they do real-time monitoring of over 6 lakh CCTV cameras. We're talking live tracking of traffic flows, up-to-the-minute pollution levels, and emergency service dispatch. During huge events, like elections or the massive Ganesh immersions, this digital brain lets them pull off absolutely flawless crowd control. And it literally gets sci-fi from here. They are currently testing an incredible concept with IIT Hyderabad called a digital twin. They're creating a real-time 3D virtual replica of the entire city. So by feeding live data into this simulation, urban planners can test out traffic models or major infrastructure changes in a virtual space, long before they pour a single drop of real-world concrete. On top of all that, they're layering artificial intelligence over that massive camera network. They are actively using machine learning to dynamically automate traffic signals based on real-time congestion. Even wilder, they're using predictive policing to foresee and neutralize safety risks before they even happen.
It's a real game changer.
But listen, none of this shiny tech matters at all if this city isn't resilient to climate shocks, right? That brings us to part 4, breathing room, focusing on urban resilience.
This is where Hyderabad really breaks the mold compared to other developing megacities. Through an absolutely massive urban forestry drive called Haritha Haram, they expanded the city's green cover by 25% in just a single decade. Add in major projects to rejuvenate urban lakes, and it proves that rapid economic growth absolutely does not have to equal a concrete jungle.
True resilience is also about learning the hard way. After the devastating floods in 2020, the city didn't just slap a Band-Aid on the problem. They launched the Strategic Nala Development Program. It's a 900 crore rupee initiative to future-proof the city by completely overhauling, widening, and desilting 390 kilometers of stormwater drains.
And their waste management is just as clever. They are taking a massive negative and turning it into a positive by bio-mining legacy garbage dumps. Down in Jawaharnagar, a specialized plant is literally converting the city's solid trash into 19 megawatts of electricity. It's basically the ultimate closed-loop approach to urban living.
All right, let's tie all of these layers together and look at the actual payoff. Part 5, the muscle and the horizon.
Hyderabad is playing it really smart by balancing dual economic engines. On one side, you've got Genome Valley, which is already India's largest life sciences cluster with over 200 pharma and biotech companies. On the other side, you have the future, Neopolis. This is a massive 500-plus acre zone dedicated to walk-to-work IT, AI, and R&D hubs. By going all in on both biotech and cutting-edge tech, their economy is practically bulletproof. And the momentum? It is definitely not slowing down. Just look at the next few years. 2025 brings the digital twin pilot. By 2026, we're looking at massive EV corridors, a unified transit pass, and phase 1 of a 3,000 crore rupee riverfront rejuvenation. In 2027, a fully driverless airport metro that will connect IT hubs directly to international flight gates. They are entirely redefining how people move. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, okay, but is this actually working? The data says absolutely yes. Mercer ranked Hyderabad the #1 Indian city for quality of living 5 years in a row. They hit #2 in the National Ease of Living Index, and just recently in 2023, they cracked the top 25 global emerging startup ecosystems.
Which brings us to this staggering 2030 goal. They are aiming to house 12 to 13 million residents while generating a $100 billion economy. They want to be Asia's undisputed leading hub for pharma, IT, and AI. This right here is the ultimate payoff of blending world-class infrastructure with cutting-edge digital governance. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. If a city can bypass the traditional rules, completely decentralize its governance, and build a green AI-driven metropolis this incredibly fast, will other global megacities abandon their slow traditional models to just copy Hyderabad's blueprint? Is this the ultimate master template for the future of urban development? Take a good look at the anatomy we explore today and ask yourself, what could your city learn from Hyderabad? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.